Welcome back to Hannity. After years of decline, late last week, Detroit formally sought federal bankruptcy, becoming the largest U.S. city to ever do so. Not surprisingly, liberals immediately began calling for a taxpayer-funded bailout of the Motor City, but even after the Obama administration claimed it would not intervene, Detroit Mayor Dave Bing had this to say about what he wants from your federal government. Watch.
Well, I do think, once again, that I've had some conversation already. I'll be more specific in the days and weeks ahead. I'm not sure exactly what to ask for. I mean, money is going to help, no doubt about that, but how much? I mean, there are a lot of things. We have to have an organized plan so we know that whatever we get is going to be invested where we can maximize the return on the investment.
So while it remains unclear how much the Obama administration will intervene, we must not forget this is the president who campaigned on the fact that he said he, quote, saved Detroit. Remember this.
When my opponents and others were arguing that we should let Detroit go bankrupt, we made a bet on American workers and the ingenuity of American companies, and today our auto industry is back on top of the world.
We refused to throw in the towel and do nothing. We refused to let Detroit go bankrupt. I bet on American workers and American ingenuity, and 3 years later, that bet is paying off in a big way.
And 4 years later, they're broke. Here with reaction, Fox News contributors Leslie Marshall and Katie Pavlich. Well, you have 50 years of Democratic control, bankruptcy. Well, what happened to the salvation from Obama, Leslie? He ran on that, didn't he?
Well, first of all, I do feel that the auto industry, and the numbers back me up, was bailed out. Did that help the entire city of Detroit?
He said he
Absolutely
saved
not.
Detroit.
I'm not going to disagree with that. Well, I agree with that. However, when you look at what brought Detroit, it's not just the auto industry. You're looking at a tax revenue that was decreased. You're looking at poor management of a city, and you're looking at high crime. But you have to remember, if we look at crime alone, Sean, crime alone in Detroit used to be #1 in murders, is #2. And do you say to a police officer that has put 150 people behind bars, as some have individually, that we thank you for your service. Now you're going to have to figure out what to do because you're going to lose your house. You're not going to get your pension. You're not going to get your retirement. Is that the way we thank our first responders who were there when we call 911?
Katie, it seems to me predictable. All these other cities are going bankrupt as well. Is this a preview of coming attractions for America?
Well, first, Sean, I wore black tonight because I heard we were going to a funeral for a city named Detroit. I see that Leslie is also wearing black tonight. Yeah, we're seeing this all over the country. 61 cities are looking at their fiscal problems and not willing to deal with them properly. Detroit isn't an issue of just simply less tax revenue. Let's take a look at why the taxes weren't able to keep up with the city employees. It's because they tax people out of town. They increased property taxes, which in return made 78,000 buildings in Detroit become abandoned. They didn't allow for new innovation, for capitalism to thrive in their city. Instead, they had a bureaucratic mess. And the only thing that's going to save Detroit is a free market system, not another bailout.
Leslie?
Well, first of all, black is slenderizing. Katie, as you get older, you'll see you have to wear black more. And I'm originally from New York, so black's my favorite color. But when we look at the city of Detroit, here's my take. Look, did I favor the bailout of Wall Street? No, many people left and right didn't. But I did favor the bailout of the auto industry. And one of the reasons I did is I believe in investing in the American worker. I believe in giving back, and I believe an investment in Detroit is going to be better. If we look at the 70s, first under in 75 Ford, and then a few years later under Carter with the extension, New York City, the investment we made in that city led to jobs being built, more businesses that came into the city, into Midtown Manhattan again, more apartments and condos being built, rented, and sold.
Look, I'm so sick of liberals throwing around the term investment and not really understanding what that means. Detroit, for 50 years, tried to invest in their education system, and now 47% of adults are functionally illiterate. Stop tossing around the word investment as if it's something you can just throw money at. Yes, other cities have invested, but they've also looked at their pension programs and brought in new capitalist ideas and new companies and invested in new innovation, and they haven't been slaves to unions like the city of Detroit has. So it's important moving forward, unless Detroit wants to lay in the bed that it made, it better be willing to open up their markets to new ideas.
All right, thank you both for being with us. And I wore a dark blue jacket for the very reasons that Leslie mentioned. All right, guys, good to see you.